Do it live. Here we go.
Oh no, you know how we know it's working, Justin?
What? I gotta say, I do love our intro music. It's pretty pimpin'. He's here. You just traveled.
The views and opinions expressed in this
Where did you
program
travel from?
are those of the speakers and do not necessarily reflect the views or positions of any entities they represent, such as We Mixed It, LLC, or Sounds Awesome, respectively. On that note, welcome to Thank the Light, the Wheel of Time podcast. We are your true source, the purest light.
It's weird
your
how you're
companion
talking, but your
cast,
mouth
a
isn't
warder,
moving.
if you will, for this journey through all things Wheel of Time. I am Desmond McNeese. I will be your pod mistress, and these are my wolf brothers.
Oh, it's on a loop.
Look at it.
It's on a loop. Just that's what we're gonna do all day long.
We'll edit that out.
Holy shit!
It's fine.
What? Introduce yourself.
I'll be your Andorran prince.
I don't know what that means.
Gawain and Galad are Andorran princes, so. Or have a day off, mate.
Can I? Oh, you're special, aren't you? Real selfless.
Real sturdy,
Real
gallant.
sturdy. Oh, I love Matt so much.
Dude, Donalfin is Matt is fantastic. So, I am.
Are we talking? Oh, go ahead. Sorry.
I am. I can't decide. I don't hate it, but I'm still on the fence of whether I love this episode or I'm just like, okay. And I'm not sure why. A lot of other people are kind of coming all over themselves, and then a lot of people are fucking, like certain people, the White Cloaks are hating on it. But as much as they're kind of like really lean into some things, he had some valid complaints about it. He's not exactly bringing them out in the most like reasonable way, but some of his complaints about things are, they are valid. But at this point, season 3, if you're hanging around to nitpick shit like that, I think you're kind of stretching, because at this point they're doing as good a job as they could with such an adaptation and where they started and the time they have. If they had 12 episodes, I'd give you a little more leeway with the bitching. If we hadn't went through so much the first season, 2 seasons to get to where we need to go, I'd probably be like, okay. But leaning into like the problems with women being at the forefront or so many gay characters, it's just like, I don't know if you didn't read the books, but those things were highly prevalent. And if you didn't see them, either work on your reading comprehension or you were just ignoring them on purpose.
It's okay to be gay, but as long as I can't have my main characters be gay. Like those people over there can be gay, but these people, it's like watching Star Wars and complaining about the feathered hair. Like,
right.
It was made in.
You want to complain about stuff? Luke kisses his sister. Like, complain about that.
Like it or not, this is being made in 2024, and we kind of have to play to that audience a little bit. I understand there's source material that we need to stick to, but we're also making it today. And I still think that even for the 90s, some of the sexism in those books is a little much. Like, I don't even know if
it's a lot. And
I don't even know if you call it sexism, but just
it's just the kind of old, I'm old school thinking, well, that needs to die. Evolve, evolve or die. It's like, if that's really your biggest issues, it's like, oh, you're mad because the people who are making the show want to be inclusive.
Are you still teaching your sons that no doesn't mean no until the third or fourth time she says no.
Yeah,
Like,
and it's okay to slip a finger without asking, that kind of shit. No, it's not. No, it's fucking not. And oh my God, what are we doing here? If those are your big problems with this show, I mean, like, find a new hobby, man. Like, I don't have time to debate that kind of stuff because it's so fucking stupid.
Yeah.
If it somehow gets in the way of a main character, like, the dragon possibly being a woman, like, that's pretty annoying. But I also get why they did it for TV.
Yeah.
But at the same time, the crux of the story is the men go insane. And that's the problem. But they're also saying, like, they make comments like, well, if it was a woman, we wouldn't be having this problem. And so they're at least, they don't know if it's a possibility or not. They're just throwing it out there. They don't know. That's why there are prophecies, because they don't fucking know. And so the people who are really freaking about that in an adaptation to a TV show where you have not enough time to tell the story that you want and all the problems, and the fact that there is still a show going, I'm amazed and I'm happy about it. A lot of people probably wish it would have died. But like you said, so many shows during COVID just went away.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's production, and they just stopped it.
And sadly, they're not that far behind a standard Amazon release schedule. Like,
they're not, especially if they would have 10 episodes a season, they wouldn't really be behind at all.
Yeah.
Facts. So like I said, in the time that they have to tell this story, Desmond, you've got to the books at this part. I thought I would have some jokes. I don't really have a lot of jokes. I'm really serious today.
We'll get there.
Yeah, we'll get jokes. I got a bottle of whiskey. We'll get there.
They're at the bottom. Destin, the jokes are at the bottom of the bottle.
Jokes are at the end. You won't be able to pronounce them, but it'll be funny because you'll be wasted. There is so much of this episode is just, verbatim from The Shadow Rising. And you've literally, this is where you're at in the books right now.
Exactly. Like this book,
like literally
this episode
chapter
started where we left off and then led me where I haven't.
Yeah, like we couldn't have planned it better without knowing what was going to actually happen in the show, because I am, and so many things were done great and
have
really
you
well.
Communicated with the editor at all?
I sent him a couple of direct messages on Twitter. I think he's kind of avoiding Twitter for like spoilers and stuff, so he probably won't. Like, you might shoot him an email because I don't think he's going to be on there too much until the season's over, because I know he's trying to, like, he's definitely like a spoiler. I don't want spoilers type of guy.
Yeah.
So
especially with people like it's not even spoilers. It's everyone commenting on it. Like, it's one thing to know what's happening. It's another thing to get kind of incepted with, this is why I hate it. This is why I hate it. Then all of a sudden you're like, oh, I guess I kind of hate that too, even though I might not have even noticed it if I watched it first.
Right. And I watched it last night, just kind of like trying to enjoy it. And I think that I had like so much anxiety about them really fucking boning it that I like didn't even sleep that good last night. I was thinking about it all day, and I'm like, did I like it? Did I hate it? Like, everybody seems like it's so good. Watching it again, yes. First of all, Yosha is just outstanding in this episode.
Yeah.
I think that he is one of the best actors in the show, especially one of the younger ones. He's come a long way. He's very, very serious about it. And I think that him playing all the parts, I think he just killed it. I think it was really, really good.
Yeah. And are people hating on that?
Not that I've seen, but I also kind of I didn't want to color my notes with what people were saying already today. I watched one breakdown, I think, by Lauren this morning, like while I was getting ready for work, and I was just listening to it more than like it was like his like immediate reaction.
Because I can see why that might bother you. Can't hate on it too much because this is how you make TV shows. Like,
right, that's the thing. The people who are kind of still hating, it's kind of like it's a TV show, man. Like,
yeah, you can't hire 12 people to play Lou Theron. It's just not
one of the things that the White Cloaks fellas complain about is the power scale in the show. And it's like, guess what? Did you read the fucking books? It's the same thing. The people who came up with the power scale were like after Robert Jordan was dead, like when they really kind of started to nail it down. And so the fact that it's a little confusing that like Ravine can you hear that in the background?
Barely. As long as it doesn't go on and on and on, it's fine.
She's just cooking some stuff. So let me know if it gets annoying. But Ravine, like being able to kind of compulse everyone that he comes into contact with, so that it seems like, you know, he's only been out 2 weeks or 2 months or something, you know, and he's already, you know, people think that he's been around Morgaze for 10 years.
Which one is this again? I'm sorry.
The one that's with Morgaze and drinking with Elaine.
Yes.
Yeah. Lord Gabriel. He's a Forsaken named Ravine. You know, the fact that everybody thinks he's been around for 10 years, and you get Leanne kind of struggling to remember his name at first. You know, that's kind of ridiculous. If you could compulse everybody like that, you know, you could just Rand could learn that power, and then everybody would follow him because he's the dragon, because he's one of the most powerful challengers. So, but like those are the things that Robert Jordan did on a regular basis to make things work. So if you read those books and you're mad about them in a TV show, like I don't know what to tell you.
And this
or people being mad that the women are at the forefront of the show. I'm sorry. Did you read the fucking books? Yes, Rand is important, but every other character besides the boys are strong, powerful women who have been in the positions of power in this world for a long time. It's not a new idea.
And at best, this is made for people who read the book series twice. Not people who have dedicated their fucking lives to diagramming every paragraph and using it to make a power scale make scientific sense.
Yeah, and also it's fantasy and magic.
Those nerds are
does it have to make all the sense?
Gonna be.
I get magic. Yeah, I get magic mechanics, but does it
like
have to be that nailed down?
Star Trek breaks down if you fucking diagram. You know, everything breaks down.
Yeah, if you start to try to work out the science, you're like, niet.
Yeah, I mean, look at what's his name on Tyson? Is it Tyson? Who's the astrologer who just ruins every movie with science?
Neil deGrasse Tyson.
Yeah, like that's proof right there.
Black Bill Nye.
Yeah, like at best, you know, the science holds up for an episode. Like that's why Time Pop has 150 episodes, because there's no science behind time travel, and everyone makes it up. And if you try to tie every time travel movie together and be like, well, in Bill and Ted they did it this way, and that doesn't work.
Matter.
In Back to the Future, it's like, no, it doesn't. And I realize I realize I'm kind of operating with apples and oranges here, but it's fiction at the
I mean, yes and no. I mean, time travel at this point in our existence does not exist, so you can play with the rules as much as you want. You know, it just has to be entertaining and not completely corny, you know,
unless you're an astronaut.
Well, yeah, then it's what
astronauts time travel.
Yeah, because they can go around the Earth backwards or whatever.
Right? No, because they're farther away from Earth's gravity than we are. So if a twin goes to space for a year, he will return 5 seconds younger than his twin. Fact. Scientific fact.
5 seconds?
I don't know what the math is. It's not much, but it's true.
Depends on probably how long you're up there.
And how far.
Exactly.
Hey, we can talk about time travel because they time travel in this episode. So I'm staying on track, fuckers.
They do. So I just have a couple of like kind of what the fuck, hell yeah.
Before we get it in general,
I just wanted to drop those and then we
love or hate, like or dislike. Did they shove a little too much shit into this bag today in this episode? Like even though they had to, I agree that it was probably a good idea to shove all this shit in the bag to get it out of the way in one episode and not drag it on for half a season. It was like, was it a lot that they shoved?
It was a huge exposition dump. Every single line of this episode was usually a line from the books or an adapted line from a book that was very important. Almost everything in this whole episode is telling parts of the story, of the lore and the history, and Rand and the Aiel, and you get to see that Moraine's family and Rand's family have been connected long before this ever happened, and by the Carhinian, I don't know however you want to pronounce it, and the Aiel with the Avendasora trees, and Rand realizes, your uncle Layman had to cut down the tree so that the Aiel would come over the dragon wall, and that my mom could have me on the slopes of Dragonmount. Like, all these things had to happen for me to be born where I was supposed to be born at the time that I was supposed to be born at. So I think they did a great job conveying that. There is a lot. I don't think it's too much, because I think it was, and like I said, I could change. I'm still kind of like processing, because there was a lot, but like Rand's visions, like, they're all either directly pulled from the books or close enough to where they mattered. He had 9 visions in the books. There was, I think, 7 in the show. Moraine stuff that happens off page in the books, we're going to get to that, I thought was really great. Yeah, so no, I think it was a lot. I don't think it was too much. I think it was close, but I think everything made sense and goes together, and I think really sets up the second half of the season well for what's going on. And
we're halfway there, people.
And I don't really have any idea what's going to happen next, because I'm so, I have a few ideas. There will be a confrontation with the Black Aja and Tanchico, obviously. Where the fuck Matt's story is going to go, I have no idea. I have a pretty good clue about Perrin's story, but there are some things about Perrin's story that could be red herrings or teases or stuff that they're just kind of throwing in as an Easter egg for us, and may not matter. But there are some things that if those things are there and they do matter, then we could have some real shit. We haven't seen Pod and Fane yet. I expect we're going to get something of him when we go to the, I think the next episode is Golden Eyes, isn't it? Or
good question. Good.
But I figure that's going to have to come soon. So the things that I really disliked for this episode is a pretty short list. Moraine's hat was one. Is she going to the Poconos?
Next episode is called Teleron Riyadh.
Okay, so definitely going to be focusing on Egwene and her story, probably.
Who we didn't see, so that makes sense. So next episode, maybe we don't see any of these fuckers. We only see
and I don't think they'll dedicate the whole episode to Egwene. I think it'll be some of the Black Aja and Tanchico. I think they're going to start linking those two storylines a little bit. Not linking them, but kind of the Black Sisters stole all the Dream Terangriel, so they're going to obviously be hanging out in the world of dreams. They're going to be teaching Egwene to dreamwalk. So this, there's naturally something probably going to happen there, I would think. Avi and Mo should be naked.
Yeah.
Mostly because that's what I want, but also that's how it went in the books.
Yeah.
And Rand's second to last vision, which was my least favorite. That was one they kind of took liberties with a little bit. The Sakarnan, it was a male Saw Angriel, excuse me, if I remember correctly. So now they've made it a female Saw Angriel. I'm guessing since it's the globe, it's something to do with the Choden Call, which is kind of like an access key for a really big Saw Angriel. We've talked about it. I don't love that. Maybe it'll come together. I don't hate it either because it's not a huge part of the story, but they did say something about how it's like a match with Kalendor or something like that, and that's like that'll be different from the books too. So we'll see where that goes. I don't hate it yet, but I'm like, and where were they leaving from? I'm guessing Paradisen, the like ancient seat of the Aes Sedai, and like the main kind of city. But they don't really. I mean, I guess it's up to interpretation.
I mean, I'm guessing that they're going to have to be. We're not going to spend 8 books separated. So each season, I think the band is going to get back together at some point. And so to have Rand with Kalendor and have Egwene or Nynaeve wielding the globe makes sense for the group dynamic of keeping the band together to battle evil.
I feel like it's setting up something huge later that Nynaeve and Rand do together. I feel like he'll have to use Kalendor. She'll have to use the globe.
Yeah.
And they do some big shit with that. So if they get that far, I'm guessing that that'll kind of tie together. I guess we'll just go to my what the fuck hell yeah column, and then we'll just go to the stuff that was good that I liked. Avienda says Aiel don't touch swords, so I guess they don't touch tips. That's cool. Whatever. I'm fine with it.
Hey, she touched Land's tip. That's good enough for me.
Land grabbed her whole ass spear out of her fucking thing in her back. That was pretty dope.
That was that. What do you think? Because that's nothing from the books, right?
No, but that is my next thing after these couple things. So
okay.
Don't let me forget. Some of the Aiel gear definitely over the top. That is not how it is, but I mean, I get how hard they're going on the costumes. Savannah, the like kind of freckle-faced gal that you meet with the giant headdress. It's cool that we meet her and see how ridiculous she is, but again, like kind of over the top. I'm curious about what Avienda sees in her visions. I don't know. You don't really cover that on this part. You cover hers when she goes through the glass columns later.
Well, and this for me,
or maybe the second time through the rings. I'm not sure. I can't remember.
And this for me, I don't know how much this follows the book, but this really helped me see why, which actually it might not come to pass. Avienda and Rand are destined to be together because they're both being forced down paths they don't necessarily want to do, but must do for the better,
for the good of their people. Yeah, that actually could, and that is the way Avienda is for a lot of the books until she finally like admits that she's like respects and loves him.
Okay. So they might just have a friendly respect in the shows. I think of like just helping each other get through.
Yeah, I don't know because especially with her and Elaine kind of having a thing early on, is it going to be a polygamous? A polyamorous relationship between the three of them? Will they have their own thing, or
Yeah,
I'm interested in that because, like you said, it's 2025. That shit exists, and
and that would make sense too because Elaine. I always want to say, is it Elena or Elaine?
Elaine.
Elaine. She's also being forced down a path she's not super excited about. Like she seems like she's
kind of putting her foot down and backing away. That her mom's trying to force her down a certain path, and she's like, no.
But she'll still. I mean, if her mom dies, you
still have to be the queen.
Or the prophecy must be,
yeah.
Must be
and then,
oh, wait a minute. We're 20 minutes into this episode. That means it's time for us to do our credit. Just like the episode. They dropped the Wheel of Time.
Oh yeah,
at minute 20. Like, just don't bother at that point. Just keep going. Just
I know. I remember watching. I'm like, that was the cold open. I'm like, fuck, that was half the episode.
Yeah, that was like, just show the logo at the beginning and just go. Like, just go. It's not a fucking James Bond movie.
Quit fucking around. So that thing that you were talking about that wasn't in the books with Matt or with Lan and Avienda and Rand, people were like who hate or were mad about it. But it's very important because it's needed to show the Avienda that that's not the path that she's supposed to be on, so they can chastise her. Something similar kind of happens in the books, but not like that. But
wait a minute, what were they mad about?
People like Avi fight, like just knocking Rand down really quick, and then fighting
Land. You mean Land?
They're like, oh, because we got. Well, no, she kind of knocks Rand down at the beginning too. So,
oh, does she? Okay.
Like at the beginning of that scene, and it's like he just kind of goes like, "Oh, what was that about?" And then Lan and her kind of get down. It's it's necessary to move her story forward as far as like she's supposed to become a wise one now. Like they do that, not for the same reasons, but they do that to her in the books as well. So I don't know why people were so mad at it, other than it was just out of character, like out of context. You do see in one of Rand's visions, you see the lady who was, I guess, referred to as the Tamilran seat by Lews Therin in like one of the first episodes of the first season. She's the lady in the white with the necklaces on that had like 4 different colors. She's the one who
Yes.
raises the columns. She's the one that gave Rand's ancestor the Sakarnin out of the Chora tree to take care of when in the second to last vision. So I thought that was pretty cool. Same actress, you know, Latris Sedai, I think is her name. And you see how long it's been by seeing how literally how ancient she is when she raises the columns, because she knows she's getting ready to die, and she's probably, you know, at least a few hundred years old, probably more like 500 ish. So I thought that was pretty cool. I mean, you know, unnecessary, but still cool. Let's see.
I think we're just so we're so our notes are staying with each other. I want to back up a little bit. I thought it was interesting the how Rand's father kind of taught him how to keep his cool by picturing a flame, and that it kind of almost makes sense why Rand might be having trouble channeling, because he spent his whole life dousing a flame in his mind, and now that flame.
But also that is kind of what
powers
helps
are.
him learn to channel and control it as he goes too. That's my second note, is that he talks about the flame in the void with Lan, and Lan calls him sheepherder again. So I liked that. I like Rand's understanding of, you know, at the end he's like, I understand enough to know that I'll never understand, you know. And so like that is pretty cool. You know, some of it's hokey when he's like, I want to go to Ryudan too. It's like he does that too, not realizing that's not how you're supposed to do it. So while that was a lot, that little scene with Kuladin and everything was important. You see Moraine's face when the Wise One channels to knock him down. Obviously, she doesn't realize that Wise One can channel.
She looks at Gwen too.
She's
they
like,
both are like,
did you know? Did you know?
I didn't know. You should have told me.
Yeah.
Moraine's packing. Is she just still packing knives from when she was stilled, or does she always?
That's just kind of a trope with this whole show. Everybody kind of has knives hidden on them, and so I would think it's probably just that. Ryudan looked really cool. It looked really immense, and then when it shows them putting the fog out with the power, all very cool, I thought. You know, seeing Evan and Sora full grown, and then them, you know, 10,000 cuttings of Chora trees, and, you know, only one survived to go to Karheen, and then dude cut it down to make a fucking throne.
Moraine's uncle.
Yeah, Uncle Donald.
Is that a book thing?
Yes, no, that is a thing.
Okay.
He was the king. His name was Layman Demodred, and he was her uncle.
He's a dick.
Yeah, the very first vision of Rand, where he's his actual father and comes upon his mother in the snow. So you get to see basically, you know, the circumstances of your birth and how, you know, how crazy it was, you know. I mean, you don't get to see everything, but you see her, she was there fighting, you know. You get a little Kate fucking tug too, like she did, which was pretty cool. He probably
I saw that.
I thought that was pretty cool.
Yeah, I saw that again. I was just like, they need to stop wearing those capes, man. That's like,
if I was fighting AO, I wouldn't wear nothing loose, man. You put your hair in a man bun, wrap your shit up, because those dudes are gonna fuck you up.
So was Rand? I think it was his voice, but I think they were smart enough not to have Yosha play his own father, so he wasn't.
No, that was Rand.
Oh, it was. Okay, I thought for some reason that one looked a little bit different. It was definitely his voice. I was like, they definitely dubbed it.
But no, yeah, I know. I had a hard time. I had to really look, and I'm like, no, that's Rand, dude.
Yeah. God.
Every one of them was Rand.
That's so cool.
His second vision, the spear that his character is holding, short sword blade, carvings on it, and a black haft. That is probably what Matt's Ashendari will look like. It may not be the exact same thing, but that is what it is supposed to look like for the most part. They say the blade's more black in the books. but it definitely has some, like runes carved on it and shit. So maybe there's quite a few of those. So maybe Matt's will be slightly different. But I'm guessing that's what we are going to see as his Ashendari, or something very, very similar. It's going to be a power wrought blade, which they stopped doing around the time that they called the Aiel to this place, because we're not going to make weapons to kill men anymore. That's it. And so they stopped doing it. I thought that was really cool. And if that is what Matt's Ashendari looks like, I'm going to be very happy. Especially seeing him wing that fucking quarterstaff around, because the Ashendari will be a little bit shorter, so we'll probably be able to have some cooler moves with it. And if nothing else, I hope that we get to see some shit like that for some seasons moving forward. It's worth it for that for me.
I loved the Three Musketeers again. Basically, Rand, Matt, and Perrin as Tinkers.
Okay, good. I'm glad you picked up on that. I was like, so the other redheaded dudes that looks like Pippin is Matt, and then the black guy is obviously Perrin. And why was he the only black dude in camp?
Yeah,
I'm just saying the Aiel are red haired, and I don't know, whatever. It's fine. You know what? You can adopt the way of a leaf too. It's all good.
Yeah.
And like I said, if those are the things that bother you, like, find something different to do, man. Because like, if that's really your biggest issue, it's like, I don't get it. I know, like, Jeremy has wholesale issues, but that's one thing I know I feel like he'd latch on to, and it's like, okay, don't watch it then. So I guess I kind of respect.
Yeah, and that's something that in a visual
you can not like it, fine,
plays well. Like in a book, you're not going to say, and this guy from 1,000 years ago looked like Perrin. Like, there's no reason to say that in a book, but in a show, it plays really fun and really
you don't have to say anything. You just cast an actor that looks similar, and people will connect the dots.
And you're like, and especially like if they're fucking Taviran, why not? If you are what the pattern is weaving around, then why would Rand not have bumped into these people 100
right
times?
And if you're that important, like, this is a huge turning point for the Aiel, and if you're that important, why wouldn't Taviran be right there right then?
Yeah,
it makes sense to me. He dies and gets reborn again somewhere else he's needed.
It wasn't one butterfly that flapped his wings. It was 100 butterflies that flapped his wings.
Or at least 3 young fellow butterflies.
To get Rand exactly where he needed to be at exactly the right time. And so you need other Taviran to flap their wings to keep pushing that.
So that he's born on Dragon Mount when he's supposed to be, basically. No, I get it, bro. I'm with that. And I'm a movie guy, and I think that way. So that's really not a problem for me. And I get, like,
I'm not talking to you, I'm talking to Jeremy.
I know. Well, I watched that whole video today with the white cloak fella, and like, a lot of his points are like mostly kind of valid. I get what he's saying. Like, the things he say are like, most of it is not without merit, but also like, you're hate watching at this point, and great if you want to vent, but it's just like some of the nitpicky stuff. Like, I could pick this shit apart. I could pick the books apart too. It's like, Pat, I don't need to know where it comes from. I want to love the shit that I love. And so every time I get a line of dialogue or something from the books that either resonates or is direct, I don't really care how ridiculous it was to get there. If it makes sense in the moment, fine.
Like, this is ridiculous for me to say as someone who's making a podcast about this, but if you look too close, it's gonna break down. And if it's already broken and then you get your microscope out, woo-wee.
Well, and my thing too, and like, you know what? This is a very broad generalization, and I hope nobody kills me for this.
This is a generalization about broads.
Yeah, but the fact that most of the people who are really hating on the show still, the people who just dislike it, went away. The people who are really hating on it, the things they're focusing on is very misogynistic, because they don't like the women leading the show. They hate the gayness. The changes that have been made. First of all, Robert Jordan's book was very innuendo filled, and they were very low key. So if you didn't look deeper, I guess maybe you wouldn't see it. Maybe you read it when you were young and you didn't grow up in a place where there were gay people. I don't know. But if you didn't get how queer coded a lot of these or Bane and Shayad are bisexual in the books. A lot of the Aiel share beds. It's not that big of a fucking stretch, dude. Like, and a creative thing, like, if that's really what that's what I see most of the people who are really hating on the show really leaning into, and that makes me sad, because I could have a debate with anybody about whether you like or dislike something, but if the reason you like it is because you don't like a certain group of people, I have a really hard time with you.
And how did you get through?
And there goes my critical thinking, I guess, but I have a hard time with it.
How, again, if you read it once and didn't pick up on it, fine, but if you read it once, you're not dissecting it to this point. Obviously, these people have read the series 5 times at the very least.
Did you guys dissect the Bible like this?
How did you not? Yeah, I just, you're very, yeah, I guess I'm just guessing what you're saying.
It just is like you're reaching at this point, and I think you're showing your
you just don't let
and dislike for the show.
Yeah, you're just telling
us you can dislike a show
like.
without hating. Exactly. And it's like a lot of things that you don't like. It's like this lady came into my shop and she's like, I don't like that other shop there. And I go, what do you mean? We've got a shop across the street. She goes, they just play really loud music in it. Like they say the N-word a lot. And I'm like, yeah, anything like that is probably going to curse a lot too and be kind of offensive. Just kind of, that's what you do in customer service, right? You kind of whatever. And she's like, oh, that's fine. I just don't like the N-word. And I'm like, oh, so you just don't like fucking rap music because you don't like black people. I get it. And I'm just like, I just kind of gave her a look, like I raised her eyebrow, like, I'm like, are we about to do this? Am I about to call you racist? Because I fucking will. I don't care. I've looked at your account. You don't spend that much money with us.
You know those people that play basketball and they
love grape soda. And like, just God, like what? It's like, it amazes me sometimes. That's all I'm saying. I'm just like, it's like, and like people who are like getting on that stuff, it's like a lot of them are like, you know what I'm saying? And it's like I said, did you dissect the Bible this way? Do you dissect Donald Trump's speeches this way? Because that dude fucking lies with every word out of his fucking mouth, and it's like, you're like, oh, he's going to be great. I'm like, I don't know. What? Trust me, nobody wants to be wrong more than me. But whatever. That's neither here nor there. Let's see. Dude, that whole scene with the 3 boys like you were talking about, the Matt and Rand Perrin lookalikes. The first kill for an Aiel. And I'm like, I'm sorry, if you're in that position, what would you do? I'll go get my sister and I'll fucking kill them guys. So there's no way of the leaf in my DNA.
Because I always thought, and maybe they showed this and I didn't pick it up. Maybe they didn't go back far enough because we just have to move forward with this fucking show. I always thought that the way of the leaf was born out of murdering too much, of people that are like
vice versa. They
were
just serve the Aes Sedai, and you see them when they're like, when you see the Aiel chopping grain and shit, that was their life. They were the servants of the servants. If you catch Lanfear's gear, what she's wearing when they open the boar, that's another thing we'll get to in a second. They open the boar, she's got that white, she's wearing the same shit that Min is wearing in the tower right now. It's that like white, like I'm a sex trafficker, like the White Cloak guy said today, is I'm a fucking sex trafficker in like a 90s Jason Statham movie.
But that makes them just sound like they're just people who were not warriors. But the Tinkers are like, they're aggressively passive,
non-violent,
and that comes
because they were the servants, man. They were the servants of the servants. So in this time before there was no war, there was no violence. So they were a kind of a group of people that they were the messengers. It was like almost like a caste system, and the Aes Sedai were kind of like our government, but their Aes Sedai is supposed to mean like servants of all. So that was what they were. They worked to grow crops and heal people. And then either before it was happening or after she opened the boar, I think there's got to be evil people before they opened the boar. I'm sorry. That's one of the things they kind of say is before she opened the boar that, there was just nobody who had bad thoughts and everything was great. It's like, well, if everybody's well fed, everybody's got a nice home and more than enough money in their pocket to do whatever the fuck they want. Yeah, there would be a lot less violence and strife and struggle because there is no reason for jealousy. That's why communism is a great ethos, but in execution, it really doesn't fucking work because people are fucking greedy. And so I don't believe that there was no evil before that, but then you see it happening. And then there was obviously some Aes Sedai who became Forsaken that like some of them were great healers, but then they would torture people sometimes, the ones they knew that were going to die or they didn't like or whatever. I I don't think that wasn't there before Lanfear opened the bore. I do think that Lanfear's intentions were semi-noble, at least from the show standpoint. And one of the things that she says is that it's so that they can try to access this true power, which we've talked about the true power a little bit, obviously.
Yeah.
But she says that anyone can access it at that point. So is that the Dark One already in her head trying to trick her? Like, look how much everyone be able to channel. No one would be jealous. Everyone could do everything. And so is that kind of a lie, or is that something that's going to be canon for the show? As far as, and I'm going to tell you why when I get to Moiraine's visions, why Lauren brought this up, and I hadn't really thought about it too much, but man, it's a really good fucking point.
So is Lanfear Eve, and we just saw her take a bite of the apple? Is that?
I think that's the analogy. I think that's the analogy. Yes.
And is that from the book? I never assumed that it was a woman.
Maren Sedai Lanfear was the one who, there was a lot of people kind of working on it, but she was the one who, broke through.
Really?
Yes.
Oh.
And you actually, if you know what, and then where we're at in the books, man, you might have actually not gotten to this point yet.
I haven't.
That scene where Rand is watching, Rand's character that he's playing is watching the Death Star get blown up. Luke and Han were there. You didn't see the Millennium Falcon because the cloaking device was on. It was there. They flew in the exhaust port. Boom. Saved the day.
Well, that was Lando.
That's a trap.
Lando.
That was Lando. That's right.
Flying.
No, that was in Jedi, bro.
That's right.
Come on.
That's right.
Fucking quit fucking this up.
So is that from the? Because I've assumed from the jump that men fucked it up, men opened it up, men abused it, men. So it was
men
the
only
woman
fucked up because they were arrogant to try to stop the Dark One without the female's help because they disagreed, and then men broke the world because of that. So that's where that comes from. But if you really back up, she was the one that kind of fucked in the first place. Like I said, there was a lot of people working on it. It wasn't
so the breaking doesn't happen.
She was the lead scientist, if you will.
There we go. She let the virus. She broke the beaker that was keeping the virus at bay.
Yeah, she injected that monkey.
Okay, and then Rand assumes that if he fucks the monkey to death, then they'll be fine.
Jeremy will like this show again. No, is that not how that works?
This is straight out of Corinthians.
Yeah, Corinthian cycle. You got it wrong. That there is a scene where basically that scene is one of Rand's visions, like almost verbatim. And I thought that was sufficiently creepy how they did it. Like it kind of breaks it, almost looks like an eye, almost like Eye of Sauron, the way it kind of goes across the sky. And they kind of have that one quick flash where it's close, almost like it's like connecting with whoever, I see you, like kind of Sauronish. So I don't know. That was okay. It was a good way to do it. I thought it landed. The mom telling him to hide his face after he killed, and like I don't have a son. And like that's a direct one from the book.
That's
pretty heart-wrenching. Yeah. And like the way the Aiel are kind of singing while they're harvesting, like
is that where the veil? Sorry, before we get away from that point, is that where the veil comes from? You cover your face when you murder people so that your mom doesn't have shame for you.
Yes. Okay. Yes, 100%. 100%. You cover your face because they had him anyway for the dust mask, but then it's like you cover your face when you're going to kill, and that's why the Aiel do that. The guy who's going through the columns that Rand ended up passing, I thought that was a good touch because you can't not have him in there because Rand does see them. I liked all of the dead bodies of the people who didn't make it through that Rand's like stepping on, all the skeletons. I thought that was cool. That's something you don't.
Who was the living guy he saw?
Muradin, Couladin's brother. Oh, that's what Savannah says. Oh yeah, my new husband, his son Muradin. So she was married to the older clan chief. He died trying to go through Redan. So then she married the son, and then he's obviously gonna die too. And then Couladin's like, oh well, I'm gonna go if he doesn't. And they're like, well, you didn't ask, punk ass. Because he's just basically like, he's like Joaquin Phoenix in Gladiator. He's just a fucking dirtbag.
Yeah.
So let's see. So that's what I'm saying. I could be a Dark One's trick on that, like saying, "Oh yeah, everybody could channel now," or is that going to be show canon? I think either way, I'm fine with it because it's not. It's not that important yet. And they're retconning so much shit. I don't care because they're happy to fix a lot of stuff. That was one of the things that White Cloak told me he made. He's like, why didn't you just fix it in the first place? I'm like, I don't know if they had time and opportunity to do so. And I know that seems like making excuses, but after to see all the stuff that they had to deal with, it's like, man, to do certain things they wanted to do. There was a little clip after the episode tonight where Rafe and Moraine and Rosamund and Yosha are talking, and she's forever Moraine Pike for the rest of her life. They're talking about, they ended up having some scenes, and then they just basically changed it to Rand carrying her out because they knew they were going to get one amazing sunset. And they're like, we're glad we did because, we had so much in this episode, sometimes less is more. And Yosha and Moraine were just looking at each other. And then the moment between Egwene and Egwene and Rand, and then Lan and Moraine, they're like, I felt like it hit better because it was just silence. You see Rand.
Did Yosha and Rosamund make out? Like, was that one of the flash?
I got all the flashbacks written down. We're gonna go through that next. So
yeah,
and they weren't making out, bro.
Well, I mean,
they were fucking.
Well,
they were. I paused it. That is a full on sex scene. They are both. I mean, at least they are naked. At least,
but obviously there's no penetration. But Yosha got to kiss Rosamund Pike.
Well, that's the thing. That was the full on love scene, bro. It might have been under the sheets, like maybe like like Days of Our Lives episode, but it was definitely a little more racy than that, I thought. And also Lanfear and Moraine's naked in that scene for the most part. I mean, obviously you're not seeing anything, but she's fully nude. Like, it's to give the impression that she's fully nude. And then Rand and her, same thing. And he's pumping, dude. Like, you can see it. I was like, oh my God. Let's see. Okay, so
Yosha's like, we spent 2 days filming that scene. I don't care if they only used 4 seconds of it.
Well, and what's funny is that I'm not sure because I don't fucking care. But I think Yosha he may be gay in real life. I think.
Okay.
I think he might be. I'm not sure 100%. I know he's played a gay character in a movie, and like I've seen a few things, and I think he may be actually gay. So that'd be kind of funny that because it was believable.
Rosamund is royalty, no matter what your.
Lisa pointed out too, especially for a ginger. Like, I'm straight, but Yosha's a fucking hot dude, especially for a ginger. He's a good-looking man.
He's a gorgeous man. All of the Aiel, like, I don't have anything wrong with redheads, but Aiels are making me a true believer.
Well, I'm 45. I know what I like, and it's my wife. Dark hair, hazel eyes, and fucking olive skin. Let's go.
Yeah.
Avienda? Oh, what?
Lock that shit down.
Avienda? What?
See, I like Bane. I like Bane.
I like the littler one. I think she's way cuter.
I
know which one you like. It's the bigger one that's got that fucking handsome jaw. I know what you like.
The one that can play linebacker.
Yeah, she's like, you can tackle me. Let's go. I'll play Maiden's Kiss. Why do they want to play Maiden's Kiss so bad with Loyal?
Oh, that is.
Is it just because it makes them uncomfortable, or what?
They're adventurers. They're like, I ain't never seen one before. I may never see one again.
It's like you say, is everything bigger on you, Aiel? I've seen them feet. Loyal, I've seen them feet.
Oh yeah.
Bane can take it. Let's just say that. So okay, we're getting kind of close to the end of our hour, so I want to kind of go through Moraine's stuff.
Yes.
2 quick things actually. I just want on fucking tape. They say Loyal says 2 people come through the Waygate before them in the last episode, and they smell of ashes, and like that could be Alana and Maxim. I still feel like Maxim's gonna end up being a dark friend, but I don't know. Maybe Alana could be too. Because otherwise, how else could she have gotten there before Perrin? Like you said, a couple of hours. She's obviously been there for a little bit. And the other one is the teaser that I was talking about, Luke, Lord Luke, and Fael. Fael is perfect because of her description in the books. You can't quite decide whether she's hot or a little too like square jawed, and her nose is a little too big, and she's really small like that. I love the Mandarb joke too. That was great.
So great.
But those are just some things I just wanted to throw out there because Lord Luke is you haven't got to this part. Lord Luke is 2 people, 2 souls in one body. One of them is Luke Mantier, which is technically Rand's uncle. He's Tigraine's brother, his Rand's mom's brother. He went to the Blight and never came back. And then the other one is like a relative of Lan's, and they are merged into one body, two souls. It's very confusing. They don't even explain it super great in the books. You kind of got to do a lot of exposition to figure it out on your own. It would be really, I mean, not hard to pull off, but I think it would be a little confusing. They've already got so much going on. I think that might be a tease that if they get more seasons, they'll throw it on. I don't think we'll see anything about that this season. Yeah. If we do, cool. If it's done great, fuck, I love it. But, I think it's one of those things that's set up for later. And then let's get to Moraine's visions. So is there anyone that sticks out to you specifically besides the one that we already talked about, them getting naked?
Just that, I mean, again, I think this is just a film thing. It's just easier to film than getting a bunch of different actresses. I thought it was weird that Lanfear killed her in every vision.
So, and this is different than going back in time. This is Moraine's possible futures.
Right.
All of them. So, you're not going to go back in time. Obviously, they're foreshadowing a big confrontation with Lanfear, right? Obviously.
Because I know that
we didn't see it. She doesn't see one where she wins.
Right. And we've already heard the trailer line. I've seen 1,000 lives. And the only one where you survive the only
one where Rand survives is if the tower bends the knee, basically.
Yeah. If I live, you die. If and all that. So yeah, I imagined Moraine dying a million different kinds of deaths that just no matter what she did, Targaryen's like the opposite of Targaryen style, like
mostly involves slitting her fucking throat. So
right. Like if she just like I'm just surprised like one of the visions she wasn't like on Bail Doman's boat and it sank, and one of the visions she was or something. But like I said, I think for a TV show, I think it made sense. It really fucking landed the point. But,
yeah, no, you know what? I couldn't agree more. I think like if you're in the book and you're seeing stuff like I said, this happened off screen. Moraine makes a few. She alludes to a few things. She writes a couple of letters, I believe. After Ryudan, I believe. I can't, or maybe she writes them after she goes through the doorway in the Stone of Tyr, which we have not seen. Maybe she'll write some letters after this about some stuff maybe that we didn't see. One of them is to Tom. I think one of them's to Rand or Matt. I can't remember. Everything's starting to kind of blend at this point. So I'm like,
yeah.
So her first vision is hello, love, and Swan's there, but then it's like this dark shadow seems very ominous in the doorway. So I'm guessing is that, some dark swan or somebody come for her. I don't know. The second one is her. She's the Amilrin seat, and Rand is on his knees begging. She kills him. The next one, she releases Lan's bond to bond Rand.
Yes.
Over the next two flashes. Then the next flash after she bonds Rand is her putting Lan out when he's on fire, and Rand is trying to burn him with the power. Like the one where Lan is on fire.
Oh, yeah.
Put them out and then throws up the shield. That's Rand down the hallway in the gear that he was wearing when he became her warder. So I'm guessing like, maybe, who knows? Maybe she tried to take both of them, or Lan's just kind of hanging around and Rand gets jealous. Who fucking knows? Her as the Amilrin and him is dying, like either in the Isle Waste or maybe, at the Dark One, who knows? When he's just kind of bleeding out with his sword laying next to him. Then you see her and Lan killing Rand with like a lightning strike.
I'm watching them right now, so you keep talking because they all blended. When I saw it the first time, they really all blended together. So I'm glad.
Yeah, I literally paused them and like looked over them. I actually fast forward to some of the earlier stuff that was just fat exposition dumps that I knew what they were saying already, so I could take a little time on those because I barely got it watched. I was done like 5 minutes before we had to fucking. I watched it last night, but I just tried to watch it to just watch it.
Yeah.
To see where I needed to pay attention today because I knew I was going to be pressed for time. he, like I said, her and Lan are killing him basically. And then you see her pledging herself to him, what looks like maybe the two rivers. My other thought is there's men and women around them that seem to be having Rand's back while she's bowing down to him, right?
Oh, she is bowing big time.
So my thought is that maybe this could be a version of the Black Tower where he started gathering men who could channel, and there are women there too. Or maybe because there's some women that maybe look like they could be Aes Sedai in like traveling clothes. Or, maybe they're just the people of the two rivers. I don't know. I was thinking maybe Black Tower because there's men around him and they're standing behind him and they seem to be more than just his people. So
yeah,
that would be kind of cool if we go far enough to get some Black Tower storylines. That'd be dope. Black Tower is really cool. Rand's dragons materializing on his arms. Fucking dope. Loved it. They look great. Yeah, just completely stellar on that. And you can see that him and Moiraine's relationship has completely changed now just by how they look at each other. Just a couple looks and she's afraid and also respecting him more, and he's same, he's like, fuck. She doesn't have to do what she's doing. This could be weird. She's doing her best. Yeah. I feel like there's a mutual respect there now. Like it changes a lot about their relationship, which is true to the books as well. Thor, man, shut up. My dog is crying. Can you hear him crying? He's like,
just
I'm
barely.
done with dinner. I'm done with dinner. And then we get to the Dark Emansfield 5. There's some shit in this vision. Pause this one every chance you get and look at it. I feel you've got Elaine, you've got Nynaeve as a Soldam with Egwene as her fucking Damani. We've got Dark Rand. You've got Dark Perrin and Matt, and Moggy's in the background. I haven't been able to have time to look at all their hands, but Perrin's got one of those fucking rings on.
Where is this?
Pause it, and you'll see a close-up on Perrin.
When?
In Moiraine's visions, her second set of visions.
Her second set? Oh, I'm still getting to her second set of visions. You know what I could have done without? Rand's Padawan tail.
That's an Aiel thing. So, but yeah, totally. Usually it's maidens that have it. So
it's dumb. I'll say it. It's dumb. Okay, come on.
Well, they have the Death Star. Why wouldn't they have a Padawan braid?
Yeah,
you go through some of Rand's, and then hers pops back up, kind of towards
the end. It's time for bed.
It's not time for bed yet.
Is it after the ball explodes? Do we get more of hers after?
I think so.
It must be.
I think so. But I think I know. I'm pretty sure Nynaeve's got one. I think they all have them, but you can see Perrin's really clearly on his right hand. And it's one of those rings like Ishii has and like Moggy has, the Forsaken like hand brass knuckle thing.
Okay, hold on. Yeah, I totally forgot about the second set of visions.
And I just happened to see it. I happened to see it in one of the pauses that I did. So I was like, oh shit.
Oh, that's right, because they say that's right. Avienda and Rand hook up, or at least bump into each other, and then I forget that. Then we realized that Moiraine has been having these visions for a week. Is that what I heard?
Yeah. Well, they've all been basically gone for a week. Avienda was only gone for like 5 days. She came back 2 days before them, so Moiraine and Rand have been gone for a week.
Jesus.
And then that was my other one. That one where they're killing Moiraine, it's like obviously they've been like hunting her. She's wearing just like a brown shift.
Okay, so there's the first one where they're in the ways.
Yes, when they flip it over right after she slits her throat, there's like a pullback view, and you can see Perrin on the right hand side, Mogganon's behind him, and he's got one of those rings on his fucking right hand, and it's very visible. It's very visible.
Oh!
See what I'm saying?
Yeah.
I think Elaine might have one too. I think they probably all have them, but I'm wondering if that's just a sign of like power with the shadow, or like Lanfear said, like, oh, anyone can channel. So like maybe that is something that the Dark One will bestow upon you if you swear to him or something. you know.
Holy shit! Oh,
So
yeah,
and then my
get it.
my last couple of notes: Moraine and Rand fucking. That's all I wrote.
Wow.
Mo and Lanfear fucking. That's all I wrote. Lanfear, the one where Lanfear, Moraine is in her still blue Aja gear, and she's like, the tower will never, you'll never be in control of this tower, something of that nature. And then Lanfear walks up and stabs Moraine. And then you just see the montage of Lanfear just, killing her a bunch of times. So
Hey Rafe, you want to make this show 1,000 times better? Fuck the animated blood. You put squibs on these people. I want to see.
they have sometimes, don't they?
I want to see real blood squirt out of Moraine's neck. Or not real blood. Well, yeah, maybe pig's blood, maybe real blood.
Last thing, and I don't know if you caught this. I didn't until I rewatched it. How, Moraine's like, "Oh, is he hurting you?" And she's like, "No, I'm getting hurt in my dreams." It is Lanfear who is dressed up as Rena.
Okay, that's for sure.
I paused it and looked at it. Yeah.
Okay.
I was watching What Up too. I kind of had a feeling because I saw her switch to Rena, but I thought it was just Lanfear switching to Rena. No, it's switching to Lanfear in Rena's braids and her makeup mask and all that shit. So, yeah.
I am so I seriously am thinking about doing a full after this season, doing a full rewatch from episode 1-1.
Really?
Maybe I'll just have to do that on my own. I mean, obviously we're going to rewatch season 3 in great depth, but it's just this season is so good that I feel like I must have missed some stuff because there's obviously a plan. Whether you like the plan or don't like the plan, I don't care. But there's obviously some kind of a plan going on, and so I want to go back through the first 16 to see. I don't know.
It might just be little things. It might just be Easter eggs, but there's going to be stuff that you're like, oh, and that comes to fruition later, or you at least get hints along that storyline moving forward,
Because I'm thinking that season 2 now, as hard of a left turn as they took, it was all good information to learn how these characters function and what their
motivations are. Yeah.
And it was easier just to take a hard left from the books than to try to think. People probably would have been at least just as angry, if not more angry, if you crammed book stuff together in a way that didn't make sense. It's like, okay, we need everyone to understand that Aes Sedai live forever, that Leandrin,
and they've done a really good job with like I said, they're not spoon feeding it to us so much as fucking throwing it at our face and hoping it sticks to it. A cooked piece of spaghetti, because it's fast moving. They're throwing shit out there constantly. And, Lisa's like, I like this, but if I didn't have you to tell me things, it wouldn't make as much sense. And I was like, well, this season they're helping with that, but it's like, and you had to pick up some stuff from the first season too. So,
yeah. Do you think this is actually one of my notes. Do you think this episode breaks non-book readers? Do you think this is when a non-book reader just goes, all right, there's just too much? Or do you think this is when a non-book reader goes, holy shit, there's just so much?
I think it's going to be 50-50, actually. I think it's going to be, you're going to have people who are real fantasy heads and can put the dots together because they're not, look, I can draw and get here if I want to. I don't have to draw a fucking straight line, right? I think
Yeah.
it's the people that are like, oh yeah, people who game, people who are into anime and fantasy and stuff, they can connect those dots pretty easily. And they don't have to be exactly right. It just needs to be making sense for you in your head. And if you like the way it goes, then great. And if you don't, then that's okay too. But I think that it's going to be a mix. And I literally have a couple of people who watch it that don't read the books and never have, that really love it. Like love it. My coworker Thane and his girl have been watching it, and he's like, I really like it. He's like, we just got done watching Game of Thrones, and he's like, they really liked the first 2 seasons, and they don't know shit. And Joss, my other guy he's read up to like book 6 or something like that. He watched the edit, and he's like, we've been watching. He fucking said fuck the edit, and he just been watching the show, and he's like, I do like it better. He goes, there's stuff I don't like, of course. He's like, but for the most part, I'm really excited to get to the 3rd season just for watching the cold open. So I'm willing to just go all through this so we can see how we get there, because I want to catch up. He's like, I should be caught up by Saturday. And so he's like, then I'll, start getting on these next ones. So I was like, cool. Because I like the feedback. I like to hear about it from either side, whether you like it or hate it. Just have reasons that aren't, the girls are too strong. Why does the black guy always die? like everybody dies. Like, I don't know. I mean, I do. It's like villains are villains. I don't pay attention to that, probably because I'm white, and I get that, and I'm sorry, but there are villains who are of all colors. There are people who die. Jeffrey Bornhard got murdered.
Hey, everybody, representation matters.
Yeah, it does. And so, but that's one of the things, like, again, if those are the things that you really can't deal with about the show, it's like,
Yeah. Well, this white man says, watch The Wheel of Time. It's good stuff. Read the books. If you haven't read the books, hang in there with us, man. Keep watching the show with us. We're going to get back to the books. This, like I said, this episode is exactly where we are in the books. I've read the chapter that was the first half of this episode, and when we're done with our rewatch and all this stuff, sometime in July or August, we will pick up in the middle.
You're going to need to finish The Shadow Rising by next Thursday.
Not going to happen.
I believe in you. No,
actually, okay. You know what? It could if. No, I won't finish it. I was just going to say, because I'm thinking like I really do just need to like put it on like 3.5 times. Just and then ran and just like, okay, somewhere in there the information is like, I can't.
My ass listens to so much. I should listen to it and tell you chapters to choose to listen to.
Well, now we're gonna like, yeah, when we come off this season, we're gonna be able to say like, because I think we're gonna have to start doing that more. Just be like, this chapter is this episode. This like really,
yeah, because we can actually do that now instead of going like, oh, this might happen. It's like, well, this happened,
yeah,
and then going forward, are these things that could be, if we get more seasons, are these things that could be set up for this, or could they be going this way? I think that's going to be fun.
Yeah, so I think it's going to be a lot of fun too. Yeah, and then I'm going to have to listen to them really, really fast, because if we've got 12 more books and 3 more seasons.
Honestly, bro, there's a couple of books where I can pick out a half dozen chapters for you, and you can skip them because there's a bunch of shit that you don't need. Yeah, man, that's all I got, bro. Like I said, I'm still kind of processing this episode. A lot of people are coming all over themselves for it. I'm not gonna fucking jerk Rafe off for fucking getting it right. I am so far pretty happy with it, and Yosha's portrayals, acting was good, writing was good enough, and they did enough from the books that made me pretty happy. I am looking forward to the rest of the season, and I have already watched these 4 episodes more times than I have watched any of the previous 16. So
I got a lot of catch up. The first 4 episodes I've seen a lot, because I keep, whenever I do a rewatch, I'm like, well, I'll start with number 1, and then I get halfway through season 1 and I get busy and start doing other shit and all that stuff. So, next time I restart it, I need to just start on like episode 3 or 4 or something, so I can push. I've done the same thing with Lost like 100 times. Like, oh, I'm going to rewatch Lost. So I've seen the first 8 episodes 10 million times. And I'll say this, I said it before, I'll say it again. This is the first time we're going to be going through this episode, people. So we'll get through the season. We'll do a rewatch. we might do another rewatch. I don't know. There's a lot here to chew on, and assuming I've seen numbers that, yeah, like I said, I think Amazon is on the 2-year cycle, so most likely 2026. If season 4 gets greenlit, we're looking at 2026. So we got a lot of time to kill. We'll
I'm
read
telling
a
you,
couple.
man, I think it's going to be tragic, but I don't think it's going to get renewed. I mean, I really hope so, and it's getting pretty good reviews right now. It's got 92 plus on Rotten Tomatoes and stuff, but I just think it's like the way TV shows go nowadays, unless they're really committed to finishing Rings of Power and Wheel of Time, I don't think they do both. And I don't think Wheel of Time is going to win out over Rings of Power.
Sell it to the CW. Sell it to the CW.
I had to laugh. That was one of the things the White Cloak homie said today. He was like, it's basically the CW in all but name.
You know what? You wish. Because if this was a CW show, they could produce it for pennies on the dollar, and there'd be no reason to cancel it. And we'd be getting
practically free to make.
And we'd be getting 16 episodes a season, and Tide would be paying all of our bills. All right, Justin. I love you. I will see you next week. I'm so excited. The Wheel of Time. Don't be an oath breaker, fucker. Oh, no, wait. That's not my outro. My outro is the question has been asked.
You don't get to go to read it, and bitch. That's what I said. I said what I said.
Ouch.
Hey. Just remember, I yelled don't touch swords, okay? And put your dagger in the horn box, and may you always find water and shade.
So the answer is yes.
Thank you for listening to Thank the Light, the Wheel of Time podcast. Do yourself a favor. Tune in live on YouTube at What Sounds Awesome, Thursday night, 8 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. And check us out in real time. Get your questions and comments read on air, or just be the first to hear us. If you can't be here live, please send your questions and comments to thankthelight@gmail.com.
We got a cute dog.
@gmail.com. Until then,
She's
put your dagger in the
54
horn
pounds.
McNeese State, go and do the next round.
Sweet 16. Come on, one more.
Come on. McNeese. That's my last name, everybody.
Gainesville Lady Lynchburgs or something.
What was it? Yours was the best. The Lady Minutemen.
Yeah, I think that's a real thing.
Of course they are.
Lady.
Because we're terrible, terrible people.
Minute ladies. Minotaurs. Lady Minotaurs.
Hey, everybody, the female orgasm is a myth.
No, it's not.
I've never seen one.
I have.
Desmond McNeese.
I have.
For We Mixed It,
Later.
LLC. Go to whatsoundsawesome.com. And this is where the hilarious outtake would appear. Thank you for listening to